Oh yeah, if people want to come like closer to the front as well, feel free to get closer because everyone's kind of spread out at the moment. But yeah, come down to the front. And yeah, today I'll be talking about how we're planning on building power to basically end factory farming, and I'll be going into how we're going to conduct the world's largest investigation this year, and also how we're going to build power at a local level, so through local campaigns to block planning applications to stop factory farming from growing. But before I go into that, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the history of animal rising and how far we've come in a relatively short space of time. Because we've only been around since 2019. We formed as Animal Rebellion as a response to the climate crisis, the climate movement really not talking about how animal agriculture is affecting climate change. And we've come a really, really long way. And just to prove how far we've come, I wanted to show you one of our worst actions we've ever done. And I'm quite embarrassed to say I was involved in organizing this action. And yes, that is James Austin sitting in a paddling pool full of fake milk. And obviously I'm not sure exactly what was going on. And I think we were inspired by donut economics, which is why James has a donut around him. But anyway, the message is completely lost, but we still had fun. And I think that this is one of Animal Rising's strengths. We're not afraid to make mistakes, to try new things. And I think that's how we've managed to come such a long way. So going from that in 2020 to where we are now. So we exist to end animal farming and build a plant-based food system in its place. And we do this in 3 ways. So we're now this kind of network of multiple campaigns and projects to achieve our mission. And so, number 1 is undermining animal farming, which is what I'll be talking about today. And that's where Animal Rising sits. And to do this, we've been doing all sorts of massive campaigns. So in 2021, basically all of our energy was built around, literally building these bamboo structures to block McDonald's distribution centers. So we would literally by hand be making these bamboo structures. We know that there are only 4 distribution centers for McDonald's in the UK. So we were like, let's just go and disrupt every single one for 24 hours and see what happens. And so we didn't really know what we were doing, but we found a way to build these structures and basically made that happen. So in 24 hours, we shut down McDonald's distribution centers, causing food shortages in their restaurants, as well as shutting down some of the restaurants for the day as well. And then in 2022, we scaled this up. So we were like, okay, we need to go from 24 hours to almost 2 weeks. And we basically had 150 people taking action day after day to disrupt milk distribution centers all across the south of the UK. And this caused milk shortages in supermarkets across the country and made national headlines. We actually had to cut the campaign short because the Queen died, and that took over the press, and so we had to move on. But and then 2023, we rebranded as Animal Rising, and we knew we needed to have like a massive action to basically kick off this new rebranded organization. And so we decided to target the largest animal event in the UK and the largest horse race in the world. So the Grand National is watched by millions and millions of people, hundreds of millions of pounds with bets put on that race. And even though the police knew that we were coming, the jockey club knew we were coming, we still managed to get people on the tracks that day, and 118 people were arrested. That year, I mean, it was a mad 18 months around that time. 500 people were arrested, or we had 500 arrests, in 18 months, and we're still supporting people going through those trials today. Then we shifted from 2023 doing the Grand National and horse racing over to the RSPCA campaign last year, and I'll be going into a bit more of that in a minute. But the other ways that we're tackling animal farming and building a transition to a plant-based food system is building support for the alternative through institutional change, like plant-based universities, plant-based councils, and we're now Harley is starting the plant-based schools campaign. I'm sure everyone's heard about those. There've been amazing talks this weekend. And third is helping farmers transition to a plant-based food system as well. So Kerry, Sarah, and Tom are leading the charge on this area of work as well. So we need to be working with farmers to help them transition away from animal farming to plant-based food. Back to the RSPCA campaign. And so last year we launched this campaign as quite controversial. So the reason we wanted to target the RSPCA and their assured scheme, because we felt the need to transform the RSPCA. It's one of the key stakeholders in the animal movement, and they're not being bold enough for animals or for farm animals in general. And the RSPCA Assured scheme is perpetuating this idea of high welfare farming. And so we wanted to tackle this, and we know that many groups have been doing this for the last couple of decades and not getting very far. And so we saw the RSPCA as a friend that had lost their way and wanted them to transform and come with us and work together to build a better world for farm animals. And like I said, it was controversial. We had people from the US calling us up and being like, don't do this. This is going to cause infighting. Do not do this campaign. So we decided to do it anyway, of course. And we, in fact, totally opposite has happened, I think. Like, we're still trying to we're still making friends with people in the RSPCA, but we definitely made a lot of friends in the rest of the animal movement as well, including like compassion and will farming and more like conservative animal groups. So it actually built, we built a lot of relationships through this campaign. But anyway, rather than me trying to explain what happened in that campaign, I'm going to show you a quick video to basically show you what happened and how we pulled off this massive investigation. We are undertaking the largest investigation into the RSPCA in history, with over 40 farms, over 50 investigators, hundreds of hours of footage, and an official published report. By the end of this video, you will see how the world's oldest and largest animal welfare organization is covering up cruelty on an industrial scale, and how we take matters into our own hands and save an animal from certain death. If, like me, you grew up trusting the RSPCA, this is a video you don't want to miss. So we're just on our way to a laying hen farm. It has around 64,000 hens in this one massive shed. The most trusted animal charity in the UK is putting their stamp of approval on these farms. If there is an emergency, say red, and then we know that we need to get out of there. Getting the biosuit on, it's just to protect ourselves from spreading any kind of disease. This is so far removed from what the RSPCA show people. Not what you see in their adverts. The RSPCA Assured scheme is supposed to be the gold standard of British farming, and if this is the best, then I dread to see what the worst is. We just came across this chicken who doesn't seem to be able to raise her head normally or like straighten her neck. She just looks like so uncomfortable. The fact that they're allowing this to happen to certain species just shows that they're not consistent in their views. If these were dogs, this would not be acceptable to the RSPCA. The RSPCA often claim that these farms are just one bad apple, but we're seeing time and time again proving that this is not the case. The whole barrel is rotten.
And they just keep twitching, and you can tell that they're like just holding on to life.
Thank you. I know that was really hard to watch, and I'm so glad that we did that campaign. I think we made a lot of mistakes along the way, and we learned so much. But yeah, I still stand by the fact that the RSPCA do need to transform. This is not okay. This is not what RSPCA Assured is portraying in their adverts and when working with supermarkets. And so yeah, this does need to change. But again, this is also, this is something that I guess as Animal Rising, we felt like we kind of like ran out of steam, and it's very, very hard to make change to one of these massive organizations like the RSPCA. Well, some of the things that happened last year, the CEO quit, the head of policy quit. So we don't actually know who to email anymore to make any change because, yeah, they've all gone. And then Chris Packham, the president, Caroline Lucas, and Brian May, the vice presidents, also quit. So yeah, it's really, really slow, really hard to make change. But I still think there are ways to make change at that level. And I know Layla and Natalie and others as part of the For Charlie campaign are going to be keep on going and yeah, continuing that fight with the RSPCA. But yes, moving on and yeah, learning from mistakes and the positive things that happened over the last few years as well, onto the next few years for Animal Rising. Oh yeah, and I just wanted to see, out of curiosity, can I have a show of hands of who thinks it's effective to focus our energy on targeting the RSPCA and the Assured Scheme? Okay, so it's actually more than I expected, to be fair. But yeah, it was, like I said, it was controversial, and yeah, a lot of people still are unsure about whether it was a good idea or not. But yeah, moving on to now, what we're planning for the next few years is a focus on factory farms, because yeah, key learning from last year was we focused on something that was very, very niche. A small number of people are interested in targeting the RSPCA. It's mostly vegans. It's mostly animal rights people. I know I've had a bee in my bonnet for like years. I felt very angry at the RSPCA and wanted to do something. But now we need to be thinking more broadly about how we can bring more people into the movement. We can't be just targeting the minority. We can't just be targeting vegans. We need to be bringing more people into the movement. And so, yeah, here's my very detailed chart. But yeah, so we've got this around like 3% of the UK population are vegan, which is amazing. And they're already completely 100% on side. We don't need to be doing campaigns targeting them anymore. But we need to be thinking about how we bring in others. And so how do we get vegetarians to come on board? They're also supportive. They also want to see, they care about animals. They want to see change for animals. And we need to find ways to bring them into campaigns to strengthen our movement and scale things up. And then we have around 85% to 90% of the population that are against factory farming. So basically, we're already winning. The majority of the public are against the worst atrocities that are happening to animals. And so, yeah, if we can get those people and get them to come and support and actually take part in campaigns, then we could be so, so much stronger and, yeah, not just be this like small minority, like niche group of people. So, yeah, we're trying to find campaigns that can bring in this number of people. And even more, so I'll come on to dogs and beagles later, but yeah, majority of people, is like 99% of the population, are dog lovers, animal lovers. And yeah, we have our beagle trial at the end of this year, which is another opportunity to bring more people into the movement and to grow our strength, basically. And so why no new factory farms? So obviously this is not to scale, but yeah, we have all these current tens of thousands of farms in the UK. And before we can bring that number down, we need to stop the industry growing. So we need to stop new factory farms being approved. And so basically, yeah, the dotted line shows like, yeah, where the potential new farms are. And so, yeah, we're trying to bring that number down. So we think there's around 90% of planning applications for new factory farms are being approved every year. So basically the default is for them to be approved. It's really hard to stop them from being approved and get rejected. And so we really need to bring that 90% number down to zero, stop factory farming from growing any further, and then we can think about ending factory farming altogether and then all animal farming. And so how are we going to do this? So there are two key streams of work that Animal Rising is going to be working on. So first stream of work is the investigations. So like I said, last year we managed to pull off the UK's largest investigation into animal farming, and then we were like, how are we going to make this bigger? We need to scale things up. So now we're doing the largest farm investigation in the world. I'm not sure where we're going to go next year, but we'll deal with that when it comes to it. So yeah, we'll be focusing on investigating factory farms over the next few years and basically doing the government's job for them. Because at the moment there's an enforcement problem. Only 3% of farms are audited by the government. And so basically if we can get to like somewhere between 50% and 100% of factory farms in the UK, then yeah, this is basically the investigation to end all investigations. We're trying to do their job for them. So we're going to show how much animals are suffering on factory farms, as well as doing environmental investigations. So scaling up investigations, bringing volunteers in to help do soil, water, and air samples around current factory farms to provide evidence for other people that are campaigning around stopping planning applications, or other people in this room that are working on ending factory farming. So all of this evidence of animal suffering and the environmental effects of factory farming can be used for others to support their work. And that's something that we'd love to talk to people about after this. So yeah, we basically want to do all this work, but yeah, to be able to support everyone else's work. So we want to know as soon as possible how we can do that for people. And then the other stream of work is the national network of local campaigns fighting planning applications. So this is something we're scaling up. I'll go into more detail in a minute. But how do we go from, there's like a few campaigns happening around the country at the moment, but how do we stop every single planning application going through? So there are around 35 new planning applications for factory farms every year, and we need to be fighting 100% of those. And the other thing is building alignment around a shared goal, which is essential for us to be achieving our goals. So I keep hearing everywhere I go, people are crying out for a coalition around factory farming, and that's something that, we think is needed too. And so many people are already doing this work. Of course, it's nothing new. But if we have this shared goal around no new factory farms as a starting point, we can really, really achieve that. I feel like there's just so much momentum behind factory farming at the moment. And so building alignment at a local level, but also at a movement level around a shared goal. And so on the investigations, to describe how we did this last year, so we pulled off this massive investigation. We exposed 45 RSPCA assured farms, and we did this in the space of 3.5 months. So all of these investigations happened in 3.5 months, which for anyone that's done an investigation, that's kind of like an insane amount of work if it was one small group of people. So actually, this time last year, I was talking to various experienced investigators and other organizations that do investigations, and a lot of people kind of laughed and said, there is no way you're doing this many investigations in this short space of time. But we just put our minds to it, and we're like, we're going to find a way to work out how to scale things up, because we can't be doing this kind of like one bad apple narrative that the industry keeps playing into. When 1 or 2 investigations come out, we need to scale things up and be thinking bigger, and to prove that it's not one bad apple, this is across the board. And so we trained up between 40 and 50 volunteer investigators beginning of last year. And basically we brought everybody into this vision of what we're trying to achieve. Everyone was aligned around the shared goal. We've got to investigate this number of farms, and we just made it happen. And basically, it was a case of going out. So an investigation looks like 4 or 5 people going out at night onto a farm, finding a way in through an open door or through like a pop hole where the chickens come in and out of, climbing in and taking photos and videos and gathering that evidence, and then going home and updating, uploading it up to the database. And we were going out night after night. On average, there was an investigation happening every single night for 3.5 months. And some nights there was like 6 investigations happening all over the country at the same time. It was like, we called it an investigation machine. We were literally, it felt like a machine. Felt like we were all like kind of dying as well. Like the amount of work that went into it, it was insane. But we wouldn't have been able to do it without this people power, without all these volunteers making this happen. And this is the investigation machine. So we're right at the bottom right now. Basically, the investigations are about to start. Everyone in this room is invited to come along to investigations training. There's first one is in 2 weeks, the 12th and 13th of April in London. There's another one in London and another in Manchester coming up. I'll give you details on how to sign up at the end, but basically we need your help to go from 0 all the way up to, we're going into the hundreds. And so basically everyone is invited to come along, and this is a really, really transformative experience for people. Like when you go onto these farms, I went onto 30 RSPCA assured farms last year, and it completely changes you. Like for example, can people show the hands, like if you ever step foot on a factory farm? There's probably less than 50% of this room. And if you think that everyone here is trying to end this, but most of us have never even stepped foot on a factory farm. Most of us are sitting behind laptops in an office doing this work, which is incredible. But I think it's so important that people actually witness the suffering, because I think people will be transformed and then take this back into their work. Because this is so important. So everyone that went on these investigations was transformed doing this, and it was also just being part of this team, all going out, knowing that other people around the country are all going out at the same night and just making this happen. This is what we're trying to replicate this year, but even bigger, and then next year even bigger than that. And then once we've done these investigations, the plan is to create this map of the country, this open source material that can be shared amongst the public, but especially for the movement. So you'll be able to see all of the factory farms that we've investigated, and then click on one and you can see all of the evidence that we gathered from that farm, and there'll be evidence of animal suffering as well as the environmental impacts of that farm as well. And so the movement can be using this information to make policy change, to be campaigning. Again, it could be a local campaign, and it's also going to support the local campaigns to stop planning applications as well. And here are some of our goals over the next 1 to 2 years for this like national level campaign. I had to redact a couple of things. We're very open about what we do, but this has been recorded and put on YouTube. So if anyone wants to find out what I had to remove from here, please come and talk to me afterwards. But yeah, we're very, very open about what we do, which is so important to be able to collaborate and coordinate things with each other. So yeah, I'm happy to talk about that afterwards. But yeah, key goals are training over 100 investigators to help make this happen. We want to be live streaming investigations. So for example, Daniel on the investigations team could be posting on social media in the day saying, I'm going to go out to a chicken farm tonight, tune in at midnight to see what happens. And then you see Daniel live streaming from the chicken farm, maybe getting beaten up by a farmer, who knows, but we want to create this like drama and yeah, within the movement, but also yeah, against the industry as well. And yeah, all this tension is needed and to gain media attention, things like that. And we also want to be seeing celebrities, like notable people joining investigations as well. So we've got people that are already interested in joining us on these investigations. People are really interested and intrigued about coming on investigations as well. So I think it's a good experience for them and also obviously helps gain publicity and things like that. And we'll be working with Bryant Research on the report. So last year we released the report as Animal Rising, and yeah, honestly, people don't really care what Animal Rising have to say. We don't sound very legit, but having Bryant Research working with us and producing a report, that makes it easier for people that are actually trying to make change, say at a government level or something, to use that research rather than Animal Rising's report. And then yeah, other things happening like open letters, yeah, front page of the Times, and trying to get BBC and others like trusted messengers to be speaking on our behalf. So no one cares what we have to say. It's like we need the BBC or Chris Packham, these kind of people to be talking about this. And of course, we need some direct action as well. So yeah, of course, there's going to be some open rescues at some point as well. And then on the other stream of work, so on the local campaigns to stop planning applications for new factory farms, we're planning on creating a vehicle to make this happen. So probably not as Animal Rising. This is still in the works at the moment. So yeah, still like welcome for feedback and ideas from people. But yeah, we're probably going to create an organization just called the Coalition Against Factory Farming. And this coalition is basically a network of the local campaigns that are popping up all over the country to stop these planning applications. So it's about those people on the ground, the local campaigners. That's what is creating this like network for the coalition. But then there's also other ways for organizations like people in this room to plug into that coalition as well and support those campaigners. So yeah, basically we're working on that at the moment. But I wanted to talk to you about Jan. There's Jan Palmer. She's really, really inspiring. Probably many of you have heard about the Cranswick case in Methwold in Norfolk. So next Thursday, there's going to be a meeting which will decide on whether a planning application from Cranswick for what would be the largest factory farm in the whole of the UK for pigs and poultry. It'll be a meeting about whether that's going to be approved or rejected. And Jan is a local to Methwold. When she found out about this application being put through 18 months ago, she was kind of outraged. She was like worried about, she's worried about herself, she's worried about her local community and about things like transportation and pollution in the local area. And she wasn't vegan, and she's come from a farming background as well, so her family are all farmers, but she just felt really passionately about the fact that Cranswick, this massive corporation, are trying to expand this massive mega farm in her local area. And so she started working out how to campaign against this factory farm being built. And so now, 18 months later, it's looking like there's a high chance it's going to get rejected. We won't know until Thursday. But yeah, she's basically been working almost full-time on this. And now I asked her how this has transformed her. And she said, yeah, she wasn't vegan when she started. Now she's vegetarian, almost vegan. And no matter what happens next Thursday, she's going to continue working to campaign against new factory farms and factory farming in general. So individuals like this are just like absolute gems, and we need to find more Jans around the country. So that's our aim for the next year, is to locate these people, bring them into the movement, train them up and support them to be running these local campaigns. And we already know how to do this. We've been doing this in the Plant-Based Universities campaign. This has happened in like less than 4 years, campaigns popping up all over Europe and now about to basically explode. The aim is to get campaigns into every single university in Europe. So we know how to do this. Obviously, it's quite different to planning application campaigns, but yeah, we've got a scalable model, and so we're going to be applying this model to local campaigns, planning applications. And so we'll have this kind of dashboard for the movement to be able to use to keep tracking these new planning applications that need to be stopped, all of the investigations, and also to celebrate progress and wins as well, because I think that's something else we learned. We're really bad at celebrating wins. Even when we have really small wins, we should be celebrating them. But yeah, it never seems good enough in the animal rights movement. It's like, if it's not 100%, it's not okay. But yeah, we should be celebrating every single little win. And so we want this like dashboard for everybody to be focusing on, and yeah, basically this shared goal of bringing that number of planning applications down to 0, and then we can focus on ending all factory farming. And so, yeah, just wanted to see a show of hands. How many people feel like focus on factory farming is an effective use of time in the movement? Okay, cool. I think it's more than the RSPCA. I hope so. Anyway, maybe we should go back to RSPCA. But no, I think, and yeah, just briefly on the timeline. So I know I'm running out of time. So we've got the local campaigns. That's going to be something that's continuous over the next few years. We've got this first round of investigations about to start, and hopefully many of you here will come along to the trainings. We're planning on releasing the first round of investigations later this year, and then a second round of investigations coming next year, and probably the year after that. And then we have, just as a side note as well not a side note, it's a big side note, we've got the Beagles trial coming up at the end of this year and into March next year. So in 2022, 18 of us rescued beagle puppies from MBR Acres. We were told that you'd never be able to get inside. It's not going to be possible to rescue beagles from this place. But we put our minds to it, and we managed to rescue beagles from MBR Acres. And now 18 of us are facing prison sentences for rescuing those puppies. But we're putting our faith in a jury that they would not put us in prison for rescuing puppies, and instead will acquit us. But anyway, it's just going to be a massive moment for the animal movement. So anyone working on dogs or animal testing should definitely come and talk to us. Because yeah, this is a huge opportunity. There's going to be documentaries around animal testing and MBR and open rescues later this year and next year, and there's other things we'll be doing, like getting celebrity support and public support and trying to bring those people from dogs to factory farming next year somehow. But we'll work out how to do that. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone. I just wanted to reiterate, to build power, we need transformation within ourselves, within our organizations, and within the movement itself. We need to build alignment around this shared goal. We really, really need to be more open and willing to work with each other and collaborate, coordinate, and also to scale and strengthen, because we want to see this time next year, we want to be stronger than where we are now. And in 2 years' time, we want to be stronger than where we are in a year's time. So we need to be thinking about how we're strengthening the movement, and we need to bring new people in to do that. And so I'm asking you today to sign up for an investigation, join the coalition against factory farming, whether that's as a local campaigner or supporting local campaigns if you're part of an organization already. And also we'd love to know any feedback on all of this and how we can support your work through our investigations too. So yeah, this is how you sign up. Scan the QR code or email me. And also, yeah, if people want more information about the investigations, if the investigations team could just like wave your hands, sorry, if you want to come talk to them after Tom's talk, here, Dan, Chloe, I don't know where Misha is, and Ash. Anyway, any of us will be, yeah, I guess we could wait around in the middle after Tom's talk. But yeah, thank you so much for listening. And yeah, hang around for Tom's talk afterwards as well. But yeah, thank you. Cool. Thanks. Oh yeah, do we? Okay, cool.
Thank you so much, Rose. We've got time for one very good question on Hoover from Bella. Just raise your hand, Bella. Where are you? Question from Bella. Are you worried that no new factory farms might be bound overruled by displacing demand overseas?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And yeah, that's something that we've been talking about. So yeah, imports are a big problem. So yeah, if we manage to solve the problem of factory farming in the UK, of course, yeah, there's the issue of imports. That's actually something that our Vegan Support the Farmers campaign is looking at the moment. And we're also talking to others about, yeah, I know there's other people in the room. I think it's Animal Policy International also doing campaigns on imports as well. So yeah, we definitely need like those two strategies. So yeah, solving the problems in the UK, but also, yeah, how do we solve the problems in imports? And obviously we can't do everything, so we're focusing on the factory farming issue. But yeah, we definitely need to be working synergistically with others that are working on imports as well. Yeah.
Thank you, Rose.